Hello and welcome. I'm Lyndon Walker, and I hope you enjoy the video. Now, things are a little different today. I actually remembered to record my sketch, which, for those of you who have been here for a minute, are not used to, because I always forget. And with that being said, though, that does not mean I will remember to do that from here on out. It is simply a flip of the coin. Speaking of coins, actually, that reminds me that I have gotten really into coin pusher machines. Now, obligatory, I don't condone gambling, but I've been having a lot of fun watching videos of people playing coin pushers, which I think is kind of funny in a way because I'm not a very competitive person, for lack of a better word. I think I'm mostly drawn by the animalistic desire to shovel quarters and other sorts of tokens into a machine and watch them clink and clatter everywhere. But that's just me. But anyway, to help satiate this desire, I actually ended up downloading a little coin pusher app on my phone, which has been a lot of fun, and a friend of mine and I actually took a trip the other day to Dave & Buster's. And for those of you who may not know, Dave & Buster's is basically a giant restaurant and arcade. It's a great deal of fun, and if that sounds like it would be your jam, I would recommend stopping by if you can. Anyway, as we made our way over, I was hoping that there would be a coin pusher machine there so I could play one. And I was ecstatic to find that there were actually a ton of them. And I actually did pretty good with them, if I do say so myself, or at least I think so. I won some tickets anyway. There are also a bunch of multiplayer games, and one of my favorite games, Pac-Man. There are actually two different types of Pac-Man, the classic one and a multiplayer one that I played with my friend. It was a good time. Along with Dave & Buster's, I've been trying to do various fun stuff to keep the spirits up. Actually, the other night I went out to the theater with a friend of mine. We ended up seeing the Bo Burnham special, which, if you haven't seen, it's on Netflix, but it was definitely worth it to see on the big screen. The theater was also handing out posters, but by the time we had gotten there, they had already run out, but oh well, not much to do about that. But on the way over, we had stopped into an H-Mart to get something to snack on. I had ended up getting a can of royal milk tea, which is a sort of black tea. It's very nice. Some little green tea pastry rolls, and just a massive bag of matcha mix. Now, maybe I'll have some sort of self-control and not be running down the street every 10 minutes to get a nice beverage. Well, maybe when I find some Thai tea mix, or maybe I just have a problem. Oh, something else fun that happened was acquiring my son, Hoot Jr., who is a white plush owl that I got at a local shop near me. He's by the company Jellycat, so if you want some really cute plushies, you can go ahead and look at them. Not sponsored, by the way. Not that I would have any sponsors at the moment, I'm a very small channel, but I digress. Anyway, it was a nice sunny day out the day after I got him, so I decided I would bring him out on a walk and do a little photo shoot. I got some really nice shots, if I do say so myself, but as someone who can be very self-conscious, I feel like I should share that there's a very specific feeling you get as a grown man running around taking pictures of your stuffed animal. And as it is said these days, I am cringe, but I am free. I've also been getting into reading much more again lately, in part because I finally got a new library card, because, lo and behold, I forgot I could use my old one because all of the libraries in my area are all connected in the same system, but you know what? Now I have 2 library cards, and there's no downside to that. Now, I've been averaging about a book a week or so, and catching up on some series that I'd fallen behind on. Most prominently, Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children. I especially enjoyed the addition of The Tales of the Peculiar, which is kind of like a bunch of fairy tales slash history of the series, and it was just really charming, and I had forgotten how much I really enjoyed fairy tales. I actually took a whole, winter course about fairy tales in college. But it's also just nice to be inside the library again, among all of the shelves and books. In light of that, I've also felt much more motivated to write. I actually made a beat sheet the other day for a story I want to try futzing around with. Now, if you don't know, a beat sheet is essentially just an outline for your story, and on my beat sheet, I have certain plot points marked out, such as it goes opening image, theme stated, setup, catalyst, debate, break into Act 2, B story, fun and games, midpoint, bad guys close in, all is lost, dark night of the soul, break into Act 3, finale, and final image. Now, these kind of points just help me, at least, and a whole lot of other people, it's not really a secret thing, to just really parse out their story and make sure that the plot's really strong and motivating to read. But along with that, trying to think everything through, because I like to try and do everything all at once, and maybe I shouldn't do that, I've also decided to do an experiment about not thinking, which I do all the time, but now I'm doing it for science. But really, I've actually decided to do some sessions of automatic writing, which, depending on your personal beliefs and theology, has roots in premonitions and things of the like. So, what I've basically been doing is grabbing my great big textbook that I actually found on the side of the road when getting home from work one night, a pencil, and just letting my arms do as they wish. Now, for the first time I did this, I let my pencil be exclusively guided by the natural movements of my body, like breathing and twitching, which I tend to be very twitchy, so I think that the squiggly line I made ended up being very pleasing. The second time I did this, I just added a bit more movement or energy to it, unconsciously of course, if that makes sense. In any case, after I do this for a while, I stop, step back, and write down any words or thoughts I may have had while doing this exercise, and also examine my work for anything that may stand out to me in any way. Overall, it's been a very fascinating exercise to do. I also just realized that, like my last video, this one is also based around the moon, which I do like the moon a lot, so that's pretty on brand. The other night, actually, I went out with my camera to test its low light settings, which was really neat, and at one point I was taking a photo of the road when a car went by. I didn't capture the car, but I did capture the streaks left behind by the headlights, which was really a nice surprise, honestly. I also saw a couple rabbits and a young fox. However, the first time I did this, I was so excited to test it out, I ran outside in my slippers, and I forgot my glasses. Another project I've been up to is some bookbinding. I want to make my own book for collaging, so I went to Artisan Craftsman with a friend of mine, got some nice thick paper and some mat board, covered it with some miscellaneous fabric and patches that I had collected or got from friends, and put a nice ribbon bookmark on it, sewed it up, and glued it all together. And all in all, I've just been doing some pretty abstract pieces in there, mainly for myself, but once I do a few, I actually decided to do a couple of TikToks showing it off because, I was proud of it. It was something I had done, and I thought it was neat. Oh, by the way, I recently made a TikTok, which I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but you know what, why not? I do. It's there, so I make similar videos to what I make up here, except, obviously shorter. And so they're there if you're interested. this has also gotten me into the habit of searching the ground for trash whenever I'm out, which I already did, but now it's been exacerbated by this new collaging hobby. I tend to think that found paper is the best kind to work with. Not that I don't buy pretty paper or think that found paper is inherently better, I just really like the natural weathering and wear that happens. I just think it has a really, a history to it. Oh, and on one of my excursions out to get art supplies with a friend of mine again, I actually found this itty-bitty little book. It's about, 3 3/4 by 4 4/4 inches, and it was on sale. It's by Paper Blanks. You might be familiar with that company. They do a bunch of really goofy books and also some historical recreations of other famous books that you can as journals. And I think they're really pretty, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna put in this itty bitty little book yet. I'm thinking maybe just it could be a tiny field journal, or maybe I'll put tiny collages in it, or both. The possibilities are endless. And actually, I just went to pick it up and I forgot that in the back there's a little pocket in there, kind of like an envelope, and I found something that I thought I had lost. Now, it's these 3 little guitar picks that I got at Artisan Craftsman, and what they did was they took old gift cards and just cut them into the shape of guitar picks to recycle them, which I think is really cool, and now that I found them again, I'm gonna have to put them in a collage. And actually, speaking of losing things, that reminds me, I had lost my ruler and triangle for 2 weeks the other day, and I had been trying to find them forever, and only when I had mentioned this to my roommate, that exact moment, did I find them sandwiched between 2 other pieces of paper, and I can't describe how angry I was to actually find something in that moment. Alright, I believe we're starting to get towards the end of the video now. I hope you liked this little chit-chat as I doodled away, and perhaps I will see you in the future. Bye-bye.